Hello everyone, my name is Jeanette of Goldberry's Gardens, and in this video I am going to be showing you my April setup. I make bullet journaling content here on YouTube and sometimes crochet content, but I have a lot more on Instagram, so my username over there is also Goldberry's Gardens, and I'd encourage you to check me out. Right now I've been doing a lot of art because I'm working on a challenge. But I am still keeping up with all my journaled stuff. I'm just posting about that a little bit less. So for this setup, we'll be doing April, and I went ahead and already set up most of the spreads because I was feeling inspired, but also I didn't feel inspired enough to actually set up my camera and film me putting everything together. Part of that reason is because I am going to be trying out a new layout. Really quickly before I open this up and show you, these are the tapes I'm using. So there's this green one from Instägram I've. These two I think are just from a pack of neutral colored tapes from Amazon that my mom got me. And then these two are from Simply Gilded. And I also love that they have a lot of things that match because this is Sweet Juniper, I believe. Yes, that's the theme, and as you can tell, I've already used a lot of the stickers, and I will probably end up using more throughout the month of April. So I actually have a space for these outside of their normal box with my extra washi tapes, where I can keep them available during the month so I can add more decoration as needed. Alright, so flipping open, again, I'm not usually a pink girl, but this setup turned out really pink, and I do actually really like how it looks. This is my theme for April. Oh yes, I also used some Artix markers and Pentel, just pens. I'll make sure to link those down below. I thought a really lovely theme would be Time to Blossom. I just like that that went with this. Technically spring was this month, but we won't get flowers here until at least the end of April, so, and probably even further into May because it'll be so long before the final frost. So I figured I would just get this, put this setup together since I felt so inspired by all the pink, and feel really springy and happy. This is my habit tracker, and I have not decided what habits to track. I think I'll draw in little symbols for each habit up at the top. But I have room for 8 symbols and then enough room for the month, and I just highlighted the different sections. That would be another thing I used with the mild liners, the zebra mild liners I have. And this one was a fairly neutral color, but with the pink from the pen, it actually smeared a little bit, and usually that would make me mad, but this time it looked really pretty. Flipping on over to my calendar setup, this one, again, here's that same highlighter but without the smear. Here's it with a little bit of smear. But these are stickers from Paper Monogatari, and I just put them down so I have a pretty simple calendar setup. It's kind of my go-to spread, but it has room for everything I need. And then we'll flip over to the weeklies because this is where things start to get really different for me. Each of the weeklies is set up this way, like they're not very different. And I have week 14, week 15, and then I didn't write in week 16 yet, and then week 17, and also that May starts. And the goal of these weeklies is this is how I can help myself manage my time a little bit better. These numbers on the side are all times. See if it'll focus. So like I get up at 6, or I aim to. Doesn't always happen. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I just went to 13, 14 instead of going back to 1 just because it keeps me more organized in my brain, even though I don't actually refer to the time as 14 o'clock or something like that. The parts I'm decorating for these layouts are the parts where I'm generally working and I don't have to plan something to do with my time because I know I'll be at work. So this little line in the middle is for my lunch break, but sometimes that shifts, and some mornings I end up coming in earlier, so on those days I can decorate down earlier. And on some mornings, on most days, I usually stay until about 5:30, so I'll probably decorate down to there, but I don't know for certain, so I figured I'll save that till the week of, and that's why I have all of the washi tapes and stickers set aside for during the month so I can keep decorating and updating. One reason I wanted to switch to this is that I will be starting my master's in the fall, and I'm going to have to take control of how I'm using my time and where my time is going. So I thought this would be useful because then I can be like, okay, so I wake up, probably don't want to put anything in that first window of time anyway. And then in this first one, like 6:30 to 7, I should probably do a workout or some exercise of some sort. And then like 7 to 7:30, shower, eat breakfast. And then ideally, I'll be all ready to go by 8, because that gives me 2 hours and I can waste that time pretty easily, but if I can see it and know that I'm supposed to be doing something, that usually helps me be a little more productive. And then from 8 to 10:30, I can just write in maybe like I'm responding to letters that people wrote me, or I want to work on whatever crochet project I have going on. And then from like 10 to 10:30, or it's more like 10 to 10:15, I want to prepare my stuff for the day, and then I head to work, and then I have this block of beautiful decoration where I don't have anything like of my own stuff going on. And then in the evening, which usually starts around here, I can block in dinner and then probably dishes or anything else. And then in the evening, if I'm studying, I'll be able to write homework in. If I have other things I want to get done, like art projects and stuff, I can write that in. And hopefully I'll be able to use this setup for the spring and then summer, and then when I start in the fall, it will be working really well and I'll have worked all the kinks out. Now, something I decided for the weekends, because it's really too small if I try to do 4 and then a to-do list or something. I decided just to have lists for the weekends because those I feel like aren't usually nearly as set in stone, so I don't need to say, oh, at this time I'll be doing this, at this time I'll be doing this. This way I can just be like, all right, I'm going to do shopping, I'm going to do my chores around the house, I'm going to do whatever else this day, and then on Sunday I'll list off the things I want to get done. But that way it leaves these days flexible and gives it enough space, and then I have these days set in stone. So I did pretty much the same setup for the whole month. This day, like, we have an early release because it's right before April break. So I'll be working at this time, and then I'll come home and I'll have all of this time, and that helps me visualize, okay, so this is what this day is going to look like. And then this week is break camp, and I don't know if I'll be working all of the days, some of the days, so I didn't decorate at all, and I'll probably decorate within the next couple weeks as soon as I know what's going on for that. I know that this day is a holiday, it's Patriots Day, so I don't have to block off any time, but I probably will, since I'm not going to crochet for all of the day, even though I wish I could. And then for the other days, I'll just decorate as needed. And then week 17 is back to a pretty normal week, and that's also when May starts, so I wanted to make sure I made note of that. But that's how this is blocked off, same as the first 2 weeks in May, or first 2 weeks of April. Then, as always, I have my notes section at the end, and it turned out very cute and happy and floral. That's the last page in this setup. And again, I don't always use that notes section, but if I don't have it, I think I would probably need it and not be able to write all of the stuff I'd need to write, and that would be more frustrating. So I'd much rather decorate and not use the spread than not have the spread and then wish I did. Let me know what you think of this new setup, if it's something you've tried. I know it looks a lot more like a pre-printed planner, but I feel like it's still very much bullet journaling in that I'm making it work for what I need it to be, which I think is a huge part of bullet journaling. I know this is very far removed from the Ryder Carroll method, but it is, I think it's more kind of the intention that bullet journaling is what you need it to be. So I'll definitely have feedback in my next video about how this went and if I am going to continue it or if it was a terrible disaster, and I will see you next time. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!